What's up, guys? This is Will, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about Christmas. So, for those of you who don't know, Christmas just passed yesterday, and well, I would have to say it went by real fast. Fortunately, before we even get to Christmas, the dreaded end of the world, which we've all been talking about for several years now, has finally passed and nothing's happened. So that's great. Just real quick on that note, I thought it'd be a lot more crazy out there on the end of the world. I didn't think it was actually going to end. I thought people would be a lot more frantic, a lot more crazy. There'd be people running around the streets. There'd be crazy people throwing away all their money. Who knows? But as you guys probably know, nothing happened. Everyone just went about their normal day-to-day life, and they acted like it was just another day, which I was not expecting. Personally, that's what I did, and that's what I was gonna do, but I was expecting a whole lot more stupid people out there. And just so you guys know, I have a gaming channel, and on there I talked about this end of the world thing, and I actually have to tell you, I did a lot of research on it, I did a project on it, and the world is actually not going to end. The Mayans, they didn't actually predict the world would end that day. That's just when their calendar would end. So, Mayans, it's not the Mayans who did this. Anyhow, the world didn't end. Let's talk about Christmas. So, Christmas just passed yesterday, of 2012. And it was kind of great because it was after the end of the world also, so that was kind of cool. But one thing I do want to talk about is the materialism behind Christmas. There's a whole lot to talk about, and I just gotta say, first off, my cousin and his family came from China, and they were probably pretty darn surprised when they saw how many presents are under my tree. It was probably around so many. I mean, I'll show you guys a little clip of all the presents I have under my tree. I'm going to roll it really quick at a super fast speed. If you miss it, just go back, pause, and unwind. Here we go.
那谁嘞？谁拿来？看谁给谁。I
got you this present, Dad.
给你瞅瞅。
Oh, it's a book. Wow.
First, well, it's not a book.
给是牙齿钉啊，没好牙齿
The
钉
first
嘛
one，is a
Wow.
牙齿就
So that was my tree right there, and as you can see, that was a whole crap load of presents. But for me, it's funny because people will look at these presents and they'll think, wow, you're so lucky, you got all these presents. And especially for my cousin who comes from China, a really poverty-stricken place. The rest of our family in China isn't as rich. I don't even think they celebrate Christmas in China, and for them to see so many presents under the tree, it's ridiculous. And on top of that, they're coming from a place where they have decided to immigrate to America, and he's already like a freshman in high school. That's where he's supposed to be at his age, and he speaks very little English, and his parents speak even less English, and they're coming here, they're bringing my cousin to give him a better education and a better chance at life, because America, it's a lot easier to make it here than back in China. So, you know, they're coming here with not a lot of food, not a lot of money, and they're probably going to be living very sparingly for the next few years. And so to come to our house, which is so huge, and to see all these presents, it's pretty crazy. But on the other end of the spectrum, just hold up real quick. It's not like I'm getting all those presents. Well, in fact, what happened was my family's really big, so you have to divide all those presents you saw by like 6. You have my dad, me, my 3 sisters, and my grandma and my mom. That's 7 people, and so you have to divide that in 7. So in effect, what I actually got for Christmas was a lot less. I got this North Face jacket, which was alright, except for I found out that it's the children's version and they just bought an extra large one to save money. And the problem with it is it doesn't fit right. It's too tight, it's too small, I can barely move in it, and I don't think it's gonna work when I actually walk outside. But other than this, I got some. What else did I get? Oh yes, I'm gonna be doing this whole thing in one take. So if you guys see, I'm not doing any cuts unless my battery runs out. So that's the first, because all these YouTubers, they always cut their videos like every 2 seconds. But I'm going to do this whole thing all the way through unless my battery dies on my camera. So other than this shirt, I did get a bunch of clothing, which is what I asked for. I just wanted some nice clothing. I got, I guess, nice clothing, but it didn't look fashionably good. You know, it's the type that your mom buys who has no idea what style is, so you don't even want to wear it because it's really embarrassing. But I guess it's good quality because, you know, she spent money on it, that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much all I got for Christmas. I got this North Face and a whole bunch of clothing from Ralph Lauren, which you guys probably know. It's pretty, if you don't, it's a really high class store, and the clothes are pretty expensive, but like she got me like a freaking turtleneck sweater thing. Like, am I actually gonna wear that? I probably will, because I mean it's pretty expensive, but still, that's kind of all I got for Christmas, despite that huge amount of presents you saw there. And so what I want to talk to you guys about is materialism and what it's done. So back when I was a kid, I pretty much was a huge nerd, I guess you could say, but that caused me to get into video games and stuff like that. And you know, it's not my fault, it's because of our society and stuff like that. So, you know, I would go to school just neutral and then not really wanting anything for Christmas. But then, you know, once I get there and then you see all these people who are like, dude, there's this new Xbox coming out, it's called Xbox 360, and I'm asking my parents to get it for Christmas, and they always get what I want for Christmas, so they're gonna get it. And then I'd be like, maybe I don't just want nothing for Christmas. This actually sounds pretty nice. And that's how the seed gets implanted, and you know, people get materialistic. And for me, I feel like it's not a good thing to do. Back in the day when I was younger, I made a lot of mistakes in that way because, you know, I would try and be really nice because I knew my parents couldn't afford this kind of stuff. And a lot of Christmases I wouldn't be getting that much. And so I would be very, very nice and pretend I liked what they got me. Because but the problem was, I knew everyone else, all my friends, were getting what they wanted. I guess it was just because where we live, like, everyone was just a lot richer or for some reason. So, for whatever reason, partially because they couldn't afford it, partially because they didn't want me to waste my time playing video games, they didn't actually get what I wanted. And a lot of Christmases I would, you know, keep it, you know, pretty cool. But there's some in the past where I got pretty selfish and I would start screaming and yelling at them. Not a lot, like maybe one or two. But that's just to show you guys, you know, I was at that place too. And what ended up happening was just a lot of yelling and fighting, and then they didn't actually get what I wanted. Nothing actually changed. And you soon learn to realize that sometimes you just can't get the Xbox 360 no matter how much you whine, because they just couldn't afford it. Just so you know, I'm using Xbox as an example. I never really wanted it. It was more like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, playing cards. Back then it was Game Boy. So that was the kind of stuff I wanted. And so I feel like a lot of you guys out there are probably in the same boat. Some of you guys may be just like that. I was actually surprised. I talked to some people. I talked to this one girl who's a white Caucasian girl, and I was surprised that she said she also rarely got gifts from her parents during Christmas. I didn't figure out why, because I didn't ask. I didn't want to prod too much, but it's surprising because it's good to see that not everybody gets everything they want, because I feel like Caucasians, they have this stigma where most of the time they get what they want because, you know, their parents get, you know, they just know what their kids want and they're willing to get it for them. And it's good to see, you know, that's not always the case. But of course there are a lot of exceptions. There are people I've seen via Twitter, people who I've known through my website business, and then people I've known in real life who get pretty much a whole ton of stuff for Christmas. I know this one guy who was a competitor for my website. He pretty much did, he was like a 13, 14-year-old kid at the time. He got a 360, a Wii, like $300 in cash, a few gift cards to all these video game stores. He got like all sorts of food too, cereal, clothing, and a lot of video games. He got all that for Christmas. And another thing is that if you're getting all this stuff for Christmas, it's going to become your standard. Like, you're going to get used to it. So every year you're going to be wanting more. Otherwise it's just your typical lifestyle. That's what happens with like spoiled people and why they get spoiled. So I feel like for those are people who get nothing and then they're still happy, those are people who will probably be more happier in the long run. Unless, of course, you know, your parents can keep getting you whatever you want each Christmas and each Christmas. But I feel like over time, you know, that's going to keep dulling until to the point where you don't even enjoy what you're getting anymore, no matter what they get you. And sure, we would all like something amazing, but I feel like Christmas is like food. If you keep going out and eating, you know, your favorite meal at McDonald's or whatever, wherever you go to get your favorite food of all time. For me, for instance, I really like Sarku Japan. It's pretty much this like Japanese-ish, Filipino, Chinese food store, and I really like the food there. If you keep going there every single day, it's not going to be like some holy, miraculous, delicious food anymore. And that's happened with me in Sarku Japan. I ate it every day, and then after a while, I didn't even like it anymore because I ate it so much. And so that's kind of like Christmas. So it's always good to, you know, be thankful for what you have, because then when you do get something amazing, and sometimes it will happen in the future, it will be even cooler. Let's see. Let me just check real quick. Hold on. I actually made a list on stuff I want to talk about. I actually talked to this haircut guy. He cut my hair about a few weeks ago, and he was 50 years old. I didn't go too much into details because I don't like prodding, but he didn't have a family, he didn't have a girlfriend or a wife. He was 50 years old, he was really old, and I talked to him about Christmas, and he pretty much said, you know, he's not getting too much for Christmas, and that was about it. And he didn't seem too thankful or happy or cheerful or anything, but he wasn't like whining or, you know, criticizing anyone or complaining about it. And for me, I just saw that and I realized, you know, sometimes it's just good to be thankful for what you do have, even if you're not getting much. So it's something to be thankful for, because you always have to look and compare yourself to, you know, people less fortunate than you, than always the people who are more fortunate than you, because that's just going to get you busted up. And that brings me to the other topic I want to talk about. I was watching my sister watch this show on YouTube. It's like this British show where they went around the world and interviewed the world's strictest parents. And the first, like, I would say 10 minutes, they showed the worst parents. I mean, not the worst parents, the worst children ever. And these children were party freaks. And there's this one kid in particular. He said, nobody in the world can tell me what to do, not even the Queen of England. And all he did was party, have sex, and what was the third one? Play video games. And my opinion on that is, if I were to parent the kid or give him some advice, it wouldn't be something like freaking, you're not allowed to do this anymore. You have to, you know, sit in your room and study all day. No more of all this stuff. It's bad for you. It's not the lifestyle I want you to live. I wouldn't do that, because there's no way he would choose to do that unless you physically forced him to, and then physically like prevented him from doing any of it. I would personally tell him something that I believe would be better in the long run, because it's something that he himself would come to realize and fix. So it's like the saying, you know, it's better to teach someone to fish rather than give him like one fish to eat for one day or something like that, because then that guy will fish for the rest of his life and make his own fish, something like that. But yeah, the point is, for freaking what was I talking about? That kid, I would tell him, for what you're doing, it's fine, you can do it, you can do anything you want, but just realize everything in life has its consequences. If you do drugs, you're probably going to get addicted, you're probably going to like cut half your life off of you, you're probably going to feel like crap each morning everywhere you go, and then you're going to be so high you can't think, and there's probably a whole lot more consequences. And you know, sexual intercourse, you'll get STDs. If you party all the time, once your parents stop supporting you, you probably go bankrupt and you won't be able to sustain your life anymore. And these are just a few examples. There's a lot huger examples out there, where you just, like, everything in life has its consequences. If you're just gonna sit here and play video games the entire day, that's fine, but just realize it has your consequences. And sometimes the consequences aren't always bad. They may be better, they may be worth the risk, they may be worth the pain. But it's up to you to decide that. And there's either two ways to do it. You either take someone's advice and don't do it and avoid the consequences, and then do it and then get the consequences and then learn the hard way that this wasn't the best choice. And so that's really all you can do. Those people who waste their lives away partying and doing that stuff, they'll learn themselves, you know, if that's not the best consequence. And sometimes it's subjective, and the results are to one's own perspective, and that's fine. You know, some things I do, others don't believe in. They don't think the consequences are worth it, or I would say results, not always consequences. Like playing video games, the results are you have a fun time, and then but you waste a lot of time. You probably might hurt your eyes playing so much. You might feel like crap afterwards, and yeah, stuff like that. So that's my advice for you guys out there. So first off, if you are one of those people who don't get a lot but are thankful, good for you. If you're not and you were pretty upset for what you got for Christmas, try and take my advice and just be more thankful. If you're in another category completely, just try and take my advice or whatever you see fit. If you're pretty rich and you got exactly what you wanted for Christmas, then good job. Thanks. Good job for you. And then in terms of life in general, just make whatever choice you want. Just be sure you chose the right thing. If you want to go skydiving, make sure you don't die, unless you want to die. Then that's your choice, if that's what you want. But in the long run, you'll figure out that what you want isn't exactly what you want. Like a lot of people out there probably do drugs, and they think that's what they want because they want to have this good feeling. But is that good feeling really worth all the other stuff that comes with drugs? And some of the stuff you think you're aware about, but you're not. But let's get off the lecture topic. I do want to talk about another thing. For those of you who don't know, I live on the East Coast, and I live in a place where it's not like too urban, but it's not too rural. So it's not like there's a bunch of like cities right next to me with huge skyscraper buildings, but it's not like a country field either. And so I'm pretty much sitting here, and I've just realized this place is so boring at times. There's pretty much nothing to do. I could list them all on my finger. There's the mall, there's the movies, there's I think an ice rink nearby, and all these things pretty much cost money unless you just want to walk around next to them, which is kind of stupid. I guess the mall is kind of more fun. And then that's pretty much it. Mall, movies, ice rink, and then there's like restaurants nearby. And then what else? I literally think that's all we can do here. There's no arcade, there's no nothing. There's a lot of fast food places nearby. And that's pretty much all there is to do here. So, ending on that note, one of my goals in life is to possibly be successful on YouTube, because that way I can make a living doing something I enjoy. I'll have subscribers who actually like me for whatever I do, and maybe with that I can possibly visit California and the West Coast and meet a lot of successful, influential people who have got their themselves together, who don't do drugs or any of that stuff. And yeah, I know there are lots of celebrities who are not on the right track, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones who are. And so that's one of my goals in life, to go to the West Coast, because apparently a lot of YouTubers just live there, because like apparently that's where YouTubers live and work together. So I don't know about living there, but it'd be nice to visit and meet all these people. So yeah, I really wish there's more to do in this place I live now. It's movies, ice rink. Anyhow, thanks guys, and subscribe if you liked it. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.